So, good morning, dear professors and students. Today, group number 48 is going to present the qualification papers. Our first graduate, Abbas Bayram Yassar, and your the same of your dissertation paper, analysis and of the attribute and the methods of translation, and your scientific advisor, Doctor of Philosophy, Kaspan Majlabu.
Okay. Good morning, dear professor, teachers, and groupmates. If you let me, I will start to defend my qualification work on theme of analysis of attribute and methods of translation. The aim and the purpose of my qualification work is to investigate thorough learning and comprise analyzing different approaches and methods of translation and applicable methods of translation in the course of translation of attributes. And the main purpose of our qualification work is to reveal the main ways of attributes in attribute translation. The aim has defined next tasks to define the main features of attribute translation and to make our own research of analysis of attributes based on some literary texts. The object of the study is the ways of expressing attributes in English and translation problems of attributive meaning words into Uzbek language. And the subject of the study is a study of English attribute in various contexts and its main ways of expressing by means of adjectives, nouns, numerals, and all other ways in general. To achieve this objective, there is a set of tasks. They are following: to learn the literature on the usage of attributes in English, to investigate translation methodology, to learn the functions of attributes, and reveal the peculiar ways of translating attributes in English. And to gain the mentioned aim, we use some methods. They are following: theoretical analysis of literature and description, observation, traditional and cultural methods, and comparative methods. When it comes to structure of our qualification work, it consists of introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2, and conclusion part. In my introduction part, it consists objective, subject, and aims, main goals of the qualification research work. And in the first chapter discusses the theoretical one, and it deals with general questions on grammatical theory and attributes itself. The chapter also investigates the functions of attributes in sentence and usage of it. And the second chapter is dedicated to considering the translation of the attributes in the texts. The chapter deals with difficulties of translation of the attributes. On translating the attributes, one should keep in mind that not in all cases, the possibility of keeping grammatical phenomena is possible. The conclusion part of this research work represents the results of the study, and following this includes thoroughly analyzed value of literature works. I mean bibliography. Thorough.
Sorrow the film is a period of the
I'm having a sorrow in
Sarah.
Чачи недес ба? Bilmezsin ne diyeceğiz? Çачи.
I mean in depth. And let's move to the first chapter of qualification work. In this chapter, I will consider
Please move to the second chapter, because in second chapter you have analysis, translation. Second chapter.
in second chapter. This second chapter of qualification work consists of analysis of attribute and attribute translation by comparing the Uzbek and the English language and with examples, in-depth examples. For example, attribute can be expressed by different grammatical categories like adjectives, numerals, nouns, and pronouns. For example, this big girl is very lazy. In this sentence, attribute is big, expressed by an adjective, big, and the next example is,
Will you please translate it to Uzbek, this sentence?
example,
Yes.
bu katta qiz juda ishyoqmas, dangasa. Big bu yerda aniqlovchi, ya'ni attribute, aniqlovchi sifat so'zga bo'lgan yordamida
İfade.
ifodalangan.
Go on.
Endi sifat,
Go on.
adjective,
Go on.
adjective can be expressed by noun also, or numeral, or pronoun. For example, in his final exam, he won his sixth distinction. In this sentence, attribute is expressed by numeral 6, and attribute can be also expressed with the help by pronouns. For example, for some time, he sat on the shade of the tree. For some time, in this sentence, some is pronoun, and attribute is expressed by pronoun some.
Good. Hold on. You see, in chapter 1, part 3, you gave the title Translation in Teaching Foreign Languages. Will you please tell us thoroughly about this? Translation in Teaching Foreign Languages.
Translation in teaching foreign languages. When it comes to translating the grammatical series or any sentence in teaching process, we are based on thorough theories by following grammatical rules strictly, or else if you don't follow the grammatical rules in both the target language and source language, we may make some mistakes. We should pay attention grammatical categories and other points also. Grammatical categories, grammatical theories, rules.
What about teaching?
Teaching.
How should we teach translation?
Translation.
Is your topic about translation? Is your topic about translation?
Not only translation. Translation of attribute. Analysis of attribute and its translation. Translation methods. Translation of attribute in
Well,
As you know, translating or translation is also a perfect means of achieving and enriching national literatures and cultures. How translation influences our literature and culture?
Translation plays an important role in enhancing our literature, our culture, culture. Because if one translator from one nation knows two languages and he or she chooses one word from another culture or another language and she or he tries to translate and brings new work, new event, new work of literature to his or her own culture and literature. Translation uh, by translating uh, from another language. For example,
What is the social and political role of translation in our modern society?
social and political.
Role of translation in our modern society. How we can define it?
um, by translating the main points or interesting points from other policies and nations, we can translators.
That's it. Thank you.
So our next graduate will begin on the same of your qualification paper, proverbs, figurativeness, and its meanings. Her scientific advisor, Dr. of Laws with Iskandar Jabi.
Different students. Okay, the program of my qualification work is about the proverbs, figurativeness.
Proverbs.
Proverbs, figurative,
Proverbs.
proverbs,
Right?
figurativeness and its meanings. So the aim of this exam is to study idioms as an expression or a phrase whose total meaning differs from the meaning of the individual words. For example, the blue one stop, which means gets angry, and behind the eight ball, which means in trouble. And both of them are English language idioms, and idioms can be come from language and cannot be translated literally. I mean word for word. So idioms, foreign language students must learn idioms just as vocabulary words. Uh, the next is the relevance of this research is to study of proverbs, figurativeness, and its meanings lies in
Figurativeness significa uma coisa.
figurativeness. Figurativeness. Figurativeness and its meanings lies in the cultural heritage, skills, and also the appreciation of literature and the artists, the preservation of cultural heritage, and so on. So, exploring the figurative meanings of proverbs enriches our understanding of language, culture, and human experience. So, the next idioms belong to non-literal and figurative language that also includes metaphors, similes, and proverbs. So there are many definitions that suggest that researchers haven't been able to settle for a single explanation. So according to the London Dictionary, states that the idiom is a group of words that has a special meaning. That's the overall meaning. Differs from the each separate word. So in the following section, we provide the examples of how idioms can be defined differently. However, this study and research provide us to be very broad, not to settle for a single explanation. The broad single explanation. So the next is the idioms are fixed expressions and that are usually not clear or obvious. The expression to feel under the weather, which means to feel not well, is a typical idiom. The words don't have one meaning, but the context helps us to identify the meaning of this sentence, of this word. So there are some simple rules how to deal with idioms. Of course, it's important to think of idioms as a single word. Then we must record the full phrase in the notebook according to the information of grammar and collocation. Idioms make us use of mental pictures in order to provide an image of what's being said. For example, I'm very hungry. I'm so hungry. I could eat a horse. In the sentence, I could eat a horse means giving the listener a quite powerful idea just about how hungry one is. So, a definition found in the Longman Dictionary, as I stated above, states that idiom is a group of words that have a special meaning that differs from the ordinary meaning of each separate word. For example, under the weather is an idiom which means ill. So idioms can be grouped in a variety of ways according to English vocabulary in use. There are three groups of idioms. There are grammatical by meaning or by words or another key. If it comes to structure, it's as following: word plus objective, word plus prepositional phrase. For example, word plus objective, hold one's hand, which means to take care of somebody. And raise the eyebrows, which means wonder. And as an example to word plus prepositional phrase is do you mind my smoking, which means object to. So different ways of grouping idioms. I have found some more or less convenient ways of grouping the idioms. There are two groups of idioms. There are nominal and verbal. The nominal one is a example, a black sheep of the family, which means the shame of the family. And the verbal example is to take risks, which means risk, as I told. So there are more verbal idioms. There are approximately 65.
My question is how it is important and using programs in teaching English.
In teaching English. Okay. In overall, the proverbs help us to improve our speech, like being natural, seeing the single words every time, and it improves the words stress and emphasize.
What's the difference between idioms and proverbs?
Idioms has a one meaning.
Are had
Idioms have a one meaning and the overall in general. And the proverbs.
Bugün şu ülke yaptığımız
Okay.
Proverbs.
Proverbs.
Kıyırdasın.
Under.
Böyle tarafız bugün. Karazında alakalı. Şundan da.
Proverbs
Çok güzel.
provide us the whole sentence. I mean, it cannot say only only one word.
대만수 대부분 오리엔트에서 뭐? 대만수 주로 오리엔트에서 뭐?
So our next graduate is Software Sada, and the same of the qualification paper is language comparison as a practical value in English language teaching, and your scientific advice is Doctor of Laws with Islam majority.
Good morning, dear teachers. My topic is about language comparison as the practical value in English language teaching. This paper analyzes difficulties for the students of the secondary schools, different examination groups to learn English because there are nearly no preposition in Uzbek and Karakalpak, but in English they have. If we talk about gender, we have of course some similarities, and when we try to explain some examples in comparison, the students learn those words better than we said. In the conception of foreign language education, it's stated that the necessity of foreign language teaching and learning has been realized together with its development and within the system of educational and by the degree on measures to bring the promotion to a this involves both verbal and non-verbal communication. Language focuses on listening and reading that can be named passive skill or receptive skill, while speaking and writing can be named active skill or productive skill. The aim and purpose of qualification work is to investigate grammar of the English language in comparison with the Uzbek and the Karakalpak to investigate English phonetics in comparison with the Uzbek and the Karakalpak languages. To achieve the objective, there is a set of tasks to review literature of comparative languages. English, Uzbek, and Karakalpak to discuss on the choice of comparison, to analyze the part of speech of English, Uzbek, and Karakalpak languages. The object of the students, the object of the study is the process of
Thank you. Let's answer the questions. Okay, you have to try to compare. What is comparative typology?
comparative typology is a branch of general linguistic typology. It deals with a comparison of language. Comparative typology compares the system of two languages and creates common.
So why do we need inter-language comparison when we teach English? In order to be successful in teaching English, why do we need inter-language comparison? What is inter-language comparison? Do you recap with some specific particularities of this one?
So our next activity is finished by the grad, and the same of the qualification paper is games as teaching method in primary school. And your scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy Kaspanda Tandu.
Sonra included.
So, good morning, teachers and dear students. You know, I'm talking about my topic. My theme is
Same. Same level.
so. My topic is games as teaching methods in primary. So, first of all, I should mention is that what is game and structured practice, which is used for it's used for entertaining. But at school, teachers should use games as a you know that with help some teachers try to show the topic in a colorful way, and it helps the teachers to motivate the students and how is it? To show the students reactions, to show the students emotions, and the second one is actuality of my world. So with the help of advanced education system all over the world, in all countries, education system has a number of new methods like using games or using new technologies in order to teach students. And in Uzbekistan, there are also a number of degrees which is related to this topic. So education is the most powerful weapon on the way to demonstrate our power to all countries. That's why we should pay attention to this word. So this research paper is dedicated to analysis of the games as a teaching method in primary schools. We know that in primary schools we have students. That's why teachers should pay attention. The games. The relevance of the research is due to the fact that the issues of the teaching to primary school children with the help of games is studied in a sufficient way and requiring more attention. So an aim and purpose of our research to examine what applied scientists and theories say about games as a teaching tool, and we should examine the results and we should examine the results and examples of the games. So the next one is my qualification work consists of the introduction and the main body. It has 2 chapters and conclusion. So in the introduction, in this piece of writing is dedicated to show all the causes and the analysis of the games as a theoretical way, and the first chapter consists of theoretical backgrounds also and practical usage of the games. The second chapter is dedicated to show how the students practice the games while learning in the classroom, and also outcomes of these actions. And the conclusion of the work describes the results of the study which is followed by the teachers, and also how to say.
Let's move to the second chapter.
Second chapter. So my second chapter about how to use games as a supportive tool in primary schools. So generally doing games means that for entertaining, but in primary schools it's used for as a supportive tool also, and as a tool which helps teachers to explain the topic clearly and perfectly. And also, this chapter analyzes the how to use the games. For example, we have a list variety of games. For example, games is divided into two parts. For example, first one is educational games, and the second one is generally entertaining games. So educational games, which is made by with the help of the structured practices, and which is related to the topic. But entertaining games, which is made by the mental ability of the student. Quizzes or bingo, like for example, quizzes and the games which helps the students to improve their mental ability, like thinking, emotions, and so on.
That's
So can you tell me the difference between games and collaborative learning in teaching English? Let's discuss the difference between games and collaborative learning. What is collaborative learning? What is collaboration? And what is the role of games and what is the role of collaboration in teaching process?
So, with the help of games, I'm a teacher, then with the help of games, I can teach my students. I can teach my students all together, with the help of one structured game in the classroom. But in collaborative learning, collaborate means it is going together. How is it? Going together. I think it's for example. Learning together among the students, learning together. And with the help of collaborative learning, teachers improve their students' abilities that are hidden for them, for the teachers. And for example, I can give an example for collaborative learning is game words, for example, in classroom.
Do you think the benefits of the games and the collaborative learning are the same?
I think it's not the same. Because when we collaborate with students, then the students can learn more with the help of themselves.
In that case, what is the importance of games?
So games is used just I think I prefer to use games in just primary schools. Because children and young children passionate about learning new things and colorful things.
That's okay. I have one important question to you. Do you know how the evolutionary framing of games? Why do we have games now in our teaching process?
So because
Do you know the evolutionary process of this one?
this I read. So because we need games because teachers try to affect the students. How is it?
That's
Yeah,
okay.
interesting
Thank you
way.
very much. That's okay. That's okay.
So next graduate Abdurrahman Mayouz, the same of the qualification paper is empirical competence, control, effectiveness, investigation of student speaking skill. And your scientific advisor is Doctor of Law, Spirit, Liberty, Cosmological.
One of the students
So next graduate, Amir Bashaira, and the same of the qualification paper is the use of finance in teaching English, and your scientific advisor is Doctor of Law, Spirit, Liberty,
Good morning, teachers. Today I'm going to talk about my maybe it's about the use of definiteness in teaching English. So this research work presents with one of the most difficult and intricate problems of language structure. So the definite articles and definiteness is one of the most important and at the same time one of the most difficult aspects of English grammar and the English grammar. And with the respect to the article, we must state in the first place that there are languages. They have no articles. Or just only one article, and besides there are Uzbek, Karakalpak, other Turkish languages, and Russian language have no.
Sorry, Turkic languages.
Turkish, yes.
Turkey diller, Turkic languages. Turkish language is Turk dili.
Turkic languages and also Russian. It's been a long debated question that how many articles are there in English. So obviously there are only two articles, material articles, the definite article and the indefinite article, A and M. So the distinction is that between them is that indefinite article means any item, which means that we don't know what the speaker is talking about, but with the help of definite article, the speaker is aware of what the speaker is explaining to the listener. So we can say in this example, language is a means of communication. In this example, the language is used only zero article, meaning it means that any language, we don't know which language, but if we say the language, we refer to any specific language. It means that it may be Uzbek, Turkish, or any Karakalpak language. So, I'm going to talk about determiners because determiners also considered to be definiteness in English language. They are predeterminers like these, that, those. So central determiners or the article the I have mentioned above, and so determiners points like pointing words like these, but they cannot name the place or the object and but we by using them we refer to it. So and also these pointing words they are not correlative, and they are correlative it means that if we use these and these, we are talking about the space or time which is close to the at the time of the speech, but we use that and those. We are talking about the things which are far away to the at the time of the speech, and also there are yes, determiners like such. The same. There are means. They are also that as a means of we use them as a means of definiteness, okay? Something like that. And also, so as I if I make examples, if I use examples, I have a book. In this sentence, I use it indefinite article. It means that the listener don't know which book I am talking about. The book is very interesting. In the second mention, the listener understands which book I am talking about.
What was the reason of taking only a then for your investigation? Because you said usually investigators take 2 or 3 items to compare.
Yes.
But
I
in your topic, you said only about the article, definite article. Am I right?
Yes.
What was the reason?
So
Because in
my
linguistics, in philology, we have a phenomenon of paradigm. This is comparing or investigating 2 things, this bottle and this bottle. This bottle is big, long, with water and so on. But this not is water.
Okay. So actually, my qualification work is based on central determiners. Mostly, I mean, central determiners is the article that, and also predeterminers like how, like beautiful, or good, any kind of adjective. They are predeterminers. But my qualification work is mostly based on central determiners. I mean, article.
Thank you.
Would you please come again?
What methods were used to achieve the goal of reading?
Okay, firstly, to complete this project, I use. Firstly, I analyze it, or I look through other research works. I gain information and other works of other scientists, and according to their research, by analyzing, I try to do it.
Why this topic is topical?
So,
Why this
Because-
topic is topical?
because it has been a long debated question that about the article there among whom? Among lots of scientists from different world, because some languages have no article, like newspaper we have no. Yes, we have no any article. That is why it is topical.
We do not have article in our language, but we have, as you are saying, determiners of
Yes, of
articles.
course,
For
like
example,
they call it predeterminers, like this is a beautiful girl, beautiful is a determiner.
what about the number 1?
One.
Bir in Tagalog.
Yes,
Bir degenlerin biri in our native language.
number.
Ay, bana koşuyor, bir konus koşup gelip de. Bir konus.
No, it is
Is it a number?
no.
Is it a determiner?
We do not
Yes.
know the person.
No, you are mistaken. This is a determiner. Bir degen söz anıklavuşu olup gelip. Anıklavuşu ki mens kimiyeti var.
I thought that in your sentence, I thought that any kind of person, we don't know.
A sol ya da Bu oradaki ana mesele bildirebilir mi?
I confuse it.
Sertifikatın var mı? Alman, sıra Alman.
I registered.
Sertifikatın var mı?
On the 11th of June. Yes.
Good morning, dear teachers and students. My topic is about empirical evidence in role play effectiveness, investigating of students' speaking skills. So, empirical evidence empirical evidence plays a vital research and in educational research. It means guiding educators and researchers in understanding the various of instructional techniques. This review takes this review aims to synthesize the empirical effects of students developing speaking skills, and role and some scientific authors, for example, Fulcher and Davidson, that states that there are 5 components of speaking skills that can be defined as follows. Firstly, pronunciation, comprehension, grammar, vocabulary, and fluency. If the students can speak English correctly, that can be easy communication and also explore their idea. So, role play. Role play is a pedagogical approach that involves learners learners taking on specific roles and imagine various signers that mirror real life situations. By assuming these roles, students can practice and develop their speaking abilities engaging in meaningful interactions. Through role play, learners can be enhance their fluency, accuracy, vocabulary usage, and pragmatic components. By applying language skills in authentic and contextually relevant situations. For example, the local councils wishes to introduce introduction a new system and obligation for dumping waste. Some students play local councillors, others local residents, and others are member of an environmental organizations, and others can the company being asked to carry out the work. The teacher describes and sets up the situation. The students prepare in groups. This plays their role. The same preparing together, and playing their roles. They first time they have been students who have been nervous look at the neighbors look at the neighbors when they are performing for the first time, uh, especially the teacher, but with the time, students will be do more, will be do more.
Thank you. Yunus, thank you. Rob, question?
Now, let's talk about the ways of assessing speaking. Now, how you are going to assess your students' speaking skills?
I think,
What I see
uh,
to the kind of information that are in your book.
ma- was taken as assessment was taken exam. Must students must be taken teachers must be taken from must be taken to students exam and their results. Not with their results.
It is the best way of assessing your students' speaking ability. It is the best way of assessing your ability of your students. I know those students.
What would you suggest to improve the fluency of speech? What would you suggest to improve the fluency of speech? What would you suggest to improve the fluency of speech? Your suggestions.
My suggestion. I think I think students must be motivation and teacher teaching their various teaching methods while during this lesson.
Okay, thank you.
So our last graduate, Smile Nafisa, and the same interpretation is motivation and creativity in a foreign language classroom. And your scientific advisor is Dr. Gilton.
Good morning, dear students and dear teachers. Now I'm going to talk about my research work. And this topic is about motivation and creativity in a foreign language classroom. Firstly, I want to talk about motivation. Motivation is a psychological quality that leads people to achieve a goal. And there are two types of motivation. They are intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Firstly, intrinsic motivation is a motivation to perform a task for its own sake only, and extrinsic motivation to perform a task for a reward from outside. Now, in my research paper, there are some parts. They are introduction and two chapters, and also conclusion and reference. This paper will look at the connection between creativity and motivation in a foreign language. Firstly, in my research paper, I give information about creativity and using this kind of creativity in a foreign language classrooms, and also the motivation, how to motivate our students while teaching them. The aim and purpose of my qualification work to present how important role creativity of language teachers play in teaching process and to develop the belief that learner-centered method really works and teachers should act like a creative youth. And so, if I talk about the theoretical significance of my work, it's a structural study about teachers' roles and the ideas of being creative in teaching. Every teacher must be creative while teaching for motivating their students and to teach their subjects to their students. And then practical significance of my work is designed way of working with the materials, I mean the creative materials or interesting materials for students. My work consists of acknowledgement, abstract, introduction chapter. In my research paper, the second chapter is about language teacher as a creative resource. In this chapter, we gave information about the teachers, I mean creative teachers, while teaching their students. Teachers must be creative and they should their students can learn more things than others.
What is integrative motivation and what is instrumental motivation? Integrative motivation and instrumental motivation. Have you ever heard about this here? Integrative motivation and instrumental motivation.
Instrumental motivation is like a motivation we have with some tools, maybe some materials.
Integrative motivation is a kind of motivation. A learner should aim something in order to integrate into society with one specific aim. It's integrative motivation. And they continue to learn something after they integrate into society and they may learn different kind of cultures and it can be instrumental motivation. For example, learning English to enter university, for example, when you were applicant or you learned English to enter university, yes, your aim was to enter university. You learned English for this one. This is called integrated motivation. After entering university, you learn English for some different kind of purposes, for speaking or writing, etc., etc. This is called instrumental motivation. Clear?
Архітектурична